So we have 4. That's a good thing.
Great.
And I see we also have Miss Mancini and Mr.
So we have 4. That's a
Strickland.
good thing.
So you got 5.
Yes. Oh, there's Ben. That's great. I think we're only person missing is Gwendolyn at this point. I think we're going to go ahead in interest of everybody's time. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. It's 6:31. And I'm going to go ahead and do a roll call for our quorum. Marilyn, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, great. Benjamin?
Here.
Linda?
Here.
Stacy?
Here.
And Leslie?
Here.
And then Gwendolyn's not present at this time. Maybe he'll come in or later. All right. So reviewing the agenda items, I was not sent any emails and there have been no changes since I posted the agenda, which I hope everybody has in front of them. Makes it a little bit easier to follow as we go along. So there were no changes to the agenda. Again, public comments. I have up until 5 o'clock to receive emails from the public, and I did not receive any. So we have no matters there. Did everybody have a chance to look at the October 22nd, 2020 minutes from the last meeting? And what I'd like to do is make a motion to approve those minutes. And I know some folks weren't at that meeting, but I'd like to make a motion to approve those. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Motion to approve those meeting minutes.
And was that Linda?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Marilyn. All right, so from here, I think I'm going to switch around just a little because I think it's really important for us all to introduce ourselves. Otherwise, I think it's going to feel awkward. So I'm going to go to the new business items and then we're going to go to the introductions first. So just really briefly, my name is Mary Gutierrez. I'm the newly appointed fire chief for the city of Seaside. I have 31 years in the fire service. I started when I was 3, just for a little clarification. And my career spans from the East Bay, working in Livermore, to San Jose, City of San Jose Fire for 20 years, Gilroy for 6, and now I'm honored to serve as the fire chief in the city of Seaside. So that's a little bit about myself. And I'd like everybody to go ahead and I'm just going to go across the screen because I know Leslie is one of our newest members. So go ahead, Leslie, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Leslie Mugan. I have, hold on, let me go deal with that phone ringing. I apologize. I'm newly appointed to the committee and I'm super excited to be here. My husband and I moved to Seaside about 20 years ago. And since moving here, we've raised our 2 boys. And here, I have one that's in college, one that's in 7th grade. And I'm super excited to be able to give back to the city that's been so great to us. So thank you.
And next, let's have Stacy introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Stacy Feast. I am also new to the committee, and I've lived in Seaside for the past 3 years. I work for the county as an analyst, and yeah, also happy to be here and hope that I'm able to contribute.
Thank you, Stacy. And because I'm new to the committee, I'm your staff liaison. I want for the rest of our committee members, and it'd be nice to know how long you've been on the committee. So let's start with Marilyn.
Okay. I'm unmuted. Do you want me to video me or no? Don't
Oh,
matter.
it's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay. All right. I think oh, there I am. Okay. Hi, everybody. Marilyn Mancini, I've been on the committee, I don't know, 2 years? I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I'm very involved in a lot of the things that go on in all the cities, the whole peninsula. And I've been doing work in a lot of different things like the gathering place and making masks for them. I was making masks for the city, but they didn't get me any more materials. So I've been keeping busy during this time with sewing, and I'm giving away a lot of stuff and a lot of those masks. So if anybody needs a mask, just give me a call, or a nurse's scrub cap. I have been involved in a long time for all the time I've been here. I've been with a lot of the associations, so I know a lot about of what's going on in this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. And
Okay.
Linda Cunningham.
Okay, I'll hold my phone. I've been with the committee, I think a year, or maybe just over a year. The end of January, I tripped on the step coming up into the kitchen and broke my arm.
Oh,
So that's a new experience for me. And I work for a hospital system out of Arizona, so I do data processing. I'm working from home. And Stacy, I don't know if you're at the 1441 Schilling building where the county is, but I worked in that building when it was Household HSBC Capital One. So 3 different companies, same building, did the same stuff as 3 different companies. And I know the county moved in there, so that just, I don't know if you're work from home, but that's where you'd normally be, but kind of felt like a connection there. So anyhow, and I want to welcome our new members because it's exciting to have, especially younger people and hope and people who've been in Seaside longer. I've been here, I think 25 years, I calculated when Leslie mentioned her 20 years. And then it's just really neat that Stacy, you've only been here 3 years and you want to help us, fight the scourge of homelessness. And it's I fear that with this economy situation, it's clearly, I was really hoping we're going to turn the corner with all that money California had, but it all went to COVID. Anyhow, that's me.
thank you, Linda. And is Benjamin on Strickland? Okay, he didn't make it.
Yeah, let me just get my
Oh, there you
video.
are.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Ben Strickland, born and raised in the Monterey Peninsula. I was in the military for about 2.5 years in the United States Navy, so I'm a veteran. Went to Monterey Peninsula College. I'm at CSU Monterey Bay right now studying psychology. And I'm just trying to figure out ways to get more involved in the community. Lately, I've been reaching out to other folks that have been, I guess, for a long time involved in homeless outreach. So I'm excited to learn more about that and share what I found out with you guys. So, yep.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. And I think, like I said, Gwendolyn, I just want to make sure I'm not missing somebody on my screen. Are you there? Okay, he's absent. From here, and I believe Jessica Hare and Ava Schofield, they were our chair and vice chair. So this evening, one of our business items is to elect a new chair and vice chair. So is there any interest in somebody stepping up to be our chair?
No.
Is everybody raising your hand at the same time? So no?
Oh, I'm raising my hand because I miss Robin introduce herself?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Robin, you're in my left-hand corner. So let's introduce Robin. I apologize. Oh, mute.
I
There
didn't
you
get
go.
excited. I thought you were going to introduce me later before the presentation.
I was.
So my name is Robin McCrae. I'm the CEO of Community Human Services, and I'm glad to be here tonight. And thank you for this opportunity. I've been with Community Human Services for 27 or 28 years now. Only 2 not as a CEO. Started out there as the administrative assistant and HR person. So anyway, have had a long career with Community Human Services. You're going to hear more about that later, but just on a personal note, I was born and raised in Salinas and went to college at UC Davis, and then applied for jobs all over the state because I wanted to leave my little hometown, and got 2 job offers, one in Monterey and one in Salinas. So I came back home, and I'm glad to be back home. I've been here ever since. So glad to be here tonight.
Thank you, Robin. And now we'll move back to the business item of which one of our lovely commissioners would like to step up if they're able and willing. And I know what a tremendous amount of work it is and can be to be a chair or vice chair, but we'll start with, there's an interest in being the chair. And I'll be here to assist you all along the way. But we need a leader in our group, and I know there's a leader. Okay, so is anybody interested in being a vice chair? Okay, for right now, it sounds like nobody has that interest. I'll talk to Leslie about how we proceed from there, but I'll always continue to create our agendas and be your staff liaison. But the work within our group does come from you. I'm your liaison. I'll build your agendas. So the members who have been on the board longer than anybody else will know that the work is driven from our group, okay? So with that, I'd like to turn over the meeting. Robin has a wonderful PowerPoint, and she's going to tell us all about Casa de Noche Buena Family Shelter. And I want to turn it over to you, Robin. Tell us all about it.
Thank you. So let's see if I can make this screen share happen. There we go. Can you all see that? Okay, good. Excuse me. So tonight I want to tell you about Casa de Noche Buena, which is the new shelter that Community Human Services, in partnership with Gathering for Women, have developed in Seaside on, really it's on Olympia Avenue, corner of Olympia and Noche Buena. And it's a homeless shelter serving women, single women, and families with children. There's a picture of the new shelter look all the way to the right. That's hopefully you've seen it, and if not, hopefully you can come out and see it soon. Oops. So I can't use the space bar, I have to use the mouse. So the idea that we had when we got together with Gathering for Women was to develop a homeless shelter for women and families with children, one where they didn't have to leave every day. They didn't have to take their belongings with them every day. They could move into the shelter, bring their belongings. They would leave during the day to pursue the goals on their case plan, or to go to work, or to go to school. But they would be able to leave their items there, which was always a problem at other shelters. People had to vacate every day and then stand in line every night to get back in the next day. We want to provide a very rich array of case management and supportive services. So Community Human Services is providing that for the families at the shelter, and Gathering for Women is providing case management and supportive services for the women at their day resource center in Monterey. So we built a pretty comprehensive array of services, not as comprehensive yet as we'd like it to be, since we've been open since mid-January. So that'll be built over time. And some of our plans obviously had to change since we're operating now in a COVID environment. So don't have as many volunteers coming in to provide services that we had envisioned, but we'll get there over time, and we'll build a nice array of supportive services. And we thought that this program could possibly serve as a model for other communities to replicate if it's successful and they think it would work in their community. So as I said earlier, we're partnering with Gathering for Women to open this shelter. We finished the rehabilitation, which took just about 2 years. Well, 2 years from the start of the idea till the finish of the rehabilitation. The rehabilitation itself did not take 2 years. And we got our certificate of occupancy at the beginning of January and took 2 weeks to outfit the place and began accepting applications mid-January. Eventually, we'll be able to accommodate approximately 30 to 36 people at a time. That number is fluid because it depends on the size of the families and the ages of the children. And during COVID, we'll be operating at about half of that, again, depending on the size of the family and the ages of the children. And we are following COVID-19 protocols for safety. And that includes, the education for clients about COVID-19 prevention and vaccines, obviously providing hand sanitizer and face masks, social distancing, staggering meal times and things of that nature so that we can keep everyone as safe as possible. And we are also testing our guests. So they come in a cohort and on the 3rd or 4th day, we take them to get tested. And we have an isolation room if anyone does become or is positive for COVID-19. The first cohort, by the way, everybody tested negative. So I think I'm preaching to the choir, the Homeless Commission. I think you know very well how great the need is and how much it's growing now during the pandemic and expected to grow even more. So here's some data from the last homeless census that was conducted in January of 2019. There was supposed to be another homeless census conducted this year. They're conducted biannually, but because of the pandemic, HUD suspended that requirement for communities across the country. So this data is already 2 years old. And it's unfortunate that we're not doing the count because it would be nice to have a marker about where we are right now, but I think most people would agree that the problem has grown worse and is expected to grow worse. So a little bit about Community Human Services, if you don't know who we are. And there I am with Clyde Roberson, the mayor of Monterey, and some of my staff in the other 2 pictures at outreach events in the community. We are a joint powers agency and a 501c3, so we have dual status as both a tax exempt organization and a governmental agency. And the city of Seaside is one of the founding members of the Joint Powers Agency, so you have all been members for 50 years. And for those 50 years, we've been providing community-based, affordable substance abuse, mental health, and homeless services throughout the county. Our board of directors is comprised of representatives from the 16 city and school district members. And the membership among the cities includes all of the cities on the peninsula. We've been a member of the Homeless Coalition since 1996. So my staff and I have been involved in homeless issues and have kept the board apprised of homeless issues and have operated homeless services for a long time in this community. Since June of 2000, oops, I went ahead a little bit too much. We manage 15 programs throughout Monterey County, and most of you probably know the names of our programs better than you know Community Human Services, which is sort of a generic name. We operate Genesis House in Seaside, which is residential drug treatment, a family service center in Seaside, and a family service center in Monterey. Off Main Clinic in Salinas, which provides medication-assisted treatment. A runaway and homeless youth program in Monterey called Safe Place, and runaway or homeless youth housing program in Monterey called Safe Passage, and then several other throughout the county. Right now we have about 100 employees, and our budget is about $7.5 million, just to give you an idea of the scope and the sort of the reach of our services throughout the county. Gathering for Women, and they would be here tonight if they had a representative who was available, but they were not able to make it, so I'll speak on their behalf. They're also a 501c3 nonprofit. They manage their day center in Monterey on El Dorado Avenue, which probably a lot of you have seen. It's really a beautiful facility. They offer a lot of services at that location, including case management. They have a meal service where they offer 2 healthy, nutritious meals a day. They have showers and laundry vouchers, a clothes closet, excuse me. They provide employment readiness and enrichment classes. I know they do a lot of art projects with the women. So since June of 2018, they've served more than 520 women, provided more than 18,000 meals. You can see all of the clothes closet visits and access to over 2,500 showers. Their budget's about $1 million, and they have a very large volunteer division. So just another word about the partnership. I don't think there's a slide on this, but we wanted to take sort of the best of both organizations, Community Human Services experience running residential programs, and the longevity of our experience, and also all the government contracts and grants that we have operated over the years, and their experience as a relatively new organization that's very grassroots driven, very volunteer driven, and their incredible ability to fundraise, and put those 2 things together to be able to serve women, which is part of their mission, and families, which is part of our mission. And it really has been a wonderful partnership. I have to say, working with them for the last 2 years, that portion of my work's been some of the most rewarding in the last 2 years. So the program at Casa de Noche Buena, I said it's going to serve 30 to 36 people. Our guests can stay for up to 90 days. And if they're experiencing success in attaining their goals, and an extended stay beyond 90 days would benefit them in some tangible way, not just to stay longer, but to achieve more goals that they're in process of achieving, then with a justification, we can extend their stay for up to 6 months. And the 6 months is a limit. It's written into the, I think it's a government code. It's the homeless overlay ordinance that allows that each city had to adopt a homeless overlay that identified where a homeless shelter could be established by rights. It wouldn't require a use permit. So the city of Seaside adopted one, as did every other city, and they did that in order to be eligible for state funding. And that ordinance says that the maximum stay for shelters within an overlay is 6 months. So as I said, Gathering for Women provides breakfast and dinner. And this actually is different under COVID-19, since we're encouraging people to restrict their movements so that they don't bring COVID into the shelter. We are providing lunch meal as well. And in case, some people are unsure what case management involves, and it's different from agency to agency, but this is a summary. We're going to provide access to health, mental health, and substance abuse services. So my staff, which operates the actual shelter, have received training in these areas so that they are able to make these assessments. We're going to provide linkages to income through mainstream benefits, helping them enroll, and linkages to employment, education, and housing services. So the terminology used these days is called housing navigation, but that means actively trying to connect people with housing opportunities and rental assistance, Section 8 housing, things of that nature. We're going to provide services and activities for the children as well, support their educational goals, make sure they're enrolled in schools and attending school. We're providing mail and internet access, so people who may not have had an address, so they may not have been able to apply for mainstream and cash benefits, they will have that opportunity now because they'll have an address. And also we'll provide, there's a laundry room, and we have a closet with clothing and personal items if they need assistance with that. So obviously, housing is the primary goal, and all of our work is aiming to help people obtain permanent housing. And here's what the building looks like. I don't know how many of you have seen the building before. It actually was rehabilitated, but it looks a darn sight better now. It was a vacant county modular building on that corner of, really, you might think of it as on the corner of Broadway and Noche Buena. It sits back a little, which is why it has a Olympia Avenue address. But it had not been used for probably 12 years. It had been a medical clinic. And so we had the opportunity to go in and completely rehabilitate it. The cost of the rehabilitation was about $1.7 million. Architect was JHW Architect, and local contractor William Thayer did the actual work. We were lucky to get donations from a local company called Revival Ice Cream and also Community Hospital of the Monterey Peninsula. So there are 2 vans now that the shelter gets to make use of. One of them is used for transporting guests to wherever they need. We try to get guests familiar with using public transportation if they don't have their own transportation, but there are times when they're going to need assistance with transportation. So shelter staff will be able to do that, and the other van will be used primarily by Gathering for Women to either transport their female clients or to deliver the meals that are cooked at their day center every day and delivered to Casa de Noche Buena for our guests. So this is the staffing ideal. We'd have 1 full-time case manager. Gathering for Women would have 1. I'm not sure what this first line here, there's some sort of mistake in the graphic, but the idea would be that there would be 1 full-time case manager at Gathering for Women to help the women, 1 full-time case manager at the shelter to help the families, a full-time program officer overseeing shelter operations, a full-time office manager to assist in overseeing the shelter, and overnight shelter monitors. And then Gathering for Women has part-time food service workers that assist with making the additional meals for the shelter guests. And ultimately, we'd like to have a lot of volunteer support, although that's not happening right now during COVID-19. So this is the ideal staffing pattern. As we continue to operate, we may make adjustments to that, but this was our thinking before the program started. And right now we're actually operating with a half-time case manager for Gathering for Women, the single women clients there, and the Community Human Services full-time case manager is providing half-time case management and half-time housing navigation for all the guests. So this is just a glimpse of what it looks like inside. It's all very clean, all very shiny and new. There's a play area for the kids in the main activity room. This is in the center here, sort of an example of what the bedrooms look like. On the women's side of the building, the women have 2 beds per room. So there's 6 single rooms for up to 12 women, and then there's 3 family rooms, and the family rooms are larger to accommodate multiple people. And then the picture to the far left is the kitchen. So there's not a lot of actual food preparation that happens in the kitchen. It's either reheating or keeping warm and serving food that's prepared by Gathering for Women. And so this is a very nice space. We do have food there, and there's some minimal food preparation for people who either work at night or just have different schedules than the meal schedule can accommodate. And so we're able to do that here at this kitchen. And I think that's the end of the presentation, but I am happy to try and answer any questions that you may have.
This is Linda, and the building looks beautiful from the outside, and thank you for rehabilitating it. It was really an eyesore, and now it's, from what you presented, sounds like it's doing a great service. Thank you.
And Robin, I just want to say what a wonderful presentation and a wonderful resource for the community. And I wondered, I drive by it every day. I just realized that. Going up to the fire station, is it a place that we can visit with appointment, or how could we see it?
I think during COVID, it would be best to call for an appointment.
Okay.
And I can put in the chat box the phone number of the program officer. Her name is Elsa Guillen. And we're trying to keep the numbers down during COVID, and also just to keep people's privacy confidential. But we are accommodating visitors, and I think that she would be glad to accommodate you.
Perfect. And would she be the person if somebody wanted to volunteer, if somebody watched this video and heard about it?
Yes, they would call her, and there are limited opportunities, not as much as we'd like, but we were just, for example, we were just trying to arrange with a CSUMB student to come in and do art projects with the kids. So there are opportunities, just not as many as when we're not operating under COVID. Then we'll have all sorts of opportunities.
Any other questions? Thank you, Robin.
I just want to thank the city for welcoming us into the community. We plan on doing some community engagement. So if people want to be involved sort of on an advisory capacity or in an advisory capacity, they'll have that opportunity. And also thank the city for their financial support of the shelter. They've been wonderful. So thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm hoping our assistant city manager, Leslie, are you there? There she is. Oh, she's in the mountains.
This is where I want to be, even though where we live is very beautiful.
Yeah.
I was playing outside with my daughter today and I said, oh, this is amazing for a winter day. And she said, is this winter? So I think, maybe I need to get her out to the mountains a little bit more.
Yes.
But Robin, before you leave, I really wanted to say thank you for what you guys have done in our community. It's a really amazing asset. I remember seeing that building before you guys had rehabilitated it and thought, I'm not one of those people that can look at a rusty car and see a beautiful, amazing piece of art, but you've done an amazing job with it. And our community thanks you, truly. And it is budget time. So if there are any additional needs that you have for the facility, make sure that you put those requests into the city prior to April 30th. Okay, so we can try to see what we can do. Okay, no guarantees, but what you do is very valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Leslie is going to, part of the 2021 work plan was to create a homeless resource page on our city website. And I will give Leslie 100% credit for creating a pretty amazing page. And it's something you can go to the city website and view. And she and I are always open to making changes or making additions. So I would like our assistant city manager to tell us a little bit about it.
So this is kind of like a soft launch. Thank you, Chief. I kind of showed her today. This is a little overdue. You guys have been asking for this for some time, and I'm sorry that we haven't had the time to get to it. I'm going to share my screen with you really quick. I want to make sure everybody can see where I'm at. So can everybody see the city's homepage? Beautiful picture of sunset. Again, where we live is amazing, though, want to make sure our kids understand what snow is as well. On our city homepage, if you hover over the government feature, sorry, my Zoom menu bar is in the way. If you hover over government, you'll see boards and commissions. So again, this is a soft launch, so this is kind of hidden. My intent is to be able to put a very bolded, large link that says homeless services. So if anybody is homeless or anyone who knows someone's homeless and is looking to understand what these services are that we offer in our community, they can find it. So as of right now, under boards and commissions, and you would select the homeless page, what we've tried to do, and I think I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I don't know what it looks like on your page. We have pages built for every single one of our boards and commissions. You'll see art and history, board of architectural review, all the way down. And the pages typically just talk about, what the meeting dates and times are, what the purview of the commission is. But we wanted to, what you guys are asking for is to create some sort of resource. So I'm going to bifurcate this, but I put it on here as a soft launch so you can tell me if it's complete before I create a whole separate page for it. So I tried to, there was this massive long list that I had that you guys had compiled and Chief Dempsey had compiled and sent to me, but I figured we needed to separate it out somehow. So your main resources for homeless services, the Coalition of Homeless Service Providers, Salvation Army, Community Human Services. These are ones that provide services that are a range of services. So I put those right here, links to their websites directly, so you can contact them directly. And then if you continue to scroll down, there's additional services that are broken out by service. This was one I kind of need a little bit of feedback and guidance on how they should be broken out. So I did do food assistance programs. If you're looking for housing services, because right now there are a lot of issues with eviction and tenant landlord relation issues. And I imagine once those state eviction protections and any kind of rental assistance programs expire, we may be seeing more of that. So I think we need to build a little bit more robust information into this section here. Other support services. This is where I think we could break it out a little bit more, but I wasn't quite sure of the categories. Additional support services could be mental health services. It could be, alcohol and drug prevention. There's a lot of different, the immigration services, documentation. I know some people have legal issues, which can be barriers to reentry. So I just thought other support services would be good. And then medical assistance. So if there are any what I need from you as a commission, if there are any additional resources, take a look at this when you have a chance. Any additional resources you have. I want this to kind of be a one-stop shop, because I know a lot of people call the city going, what can we do? This should be the answer. There's multiple answers. It's a wraparound care of service, as we all know. So this should be resources for people. So I was kind of just, again, this is a soft launch, work in progress, as all websites are. Any feedback you have would be welcome. And that's it, Chief.
Very nice. Very nice. Leslie's like the miracle worker. She can do everything and anything. Okay, so we're going to move on. Thank you, Leslie. And our next item 7, is reports from commissioners. And in all fairness to the commissioners, I've been working for years. I wanted to give the commissioners an opportunity if there's anything that you wanted to present or any items that were pending, because there's 3 of us are going to be doing a lot of catch up as new members. So I didn't know if anybody had a report. I'll take that as.
Sorry, I know I'm new.
No, you're not new.
But I just wanted, I think this is relevant to the committee, but the Monterey and San Benito Continuum of Care are rewriting the Leave Me Home plan, which is the plan to end homelessness for the 2 counties. And there's a bunch of listening sessions that are taking place now. So that's information that I get through the work that I do, but I thought it was maybe this committee might be interested. So I don't know if there's a way to share that type of information with the group, or
Absolutely. Stacy, do you have all of or go ahead, Leslie, do you have something on that?
I do. I actually had received an email on that earlier today, and that's something that we are going to be promoting on our social media pages, because I saw that they were soliciting public input for it. So this is the perfect opportunity to share any information like that. If you give it to Chief Gutierrez, if I'm not here, she'll forward it over to me, and then we'll share it broadly. So this is the perfect venue to share that information. And even if you don't want to wait until the meeting, because we're not meeting as frequently as possible, or as we've done, just send it to her via email. She can share it with the committee, and then we can push it out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
I guess else? I have a couple updates. Is that fine?
Yes, absolutely.
So I've been networking with some folks recently. One individual works in Seaside and does feeding the homeless, I think every weekend. And then I got in touch with someone at a church, a local church that runs like a food pantry program. And I think he said that every week they feed like 1,000 people in the Monterey County that are struggling with homelessness. And I've also been having some calls with someone that operates another men's community I just kind of had an idea. I really do like the website a lot. There's a lot of resources, but if we start partnering with more people in the community that are already actively helping out the homeless community, would it be good for us to keep some sort of a directory on file that the commission has, that if there's a certain situation we can help someone out or network with someone else, that we can let them know who helps in that department?
Ben, I absolutely think it's a great idea. And one of the things I think is important is you've taken this on and you're passionate about it. Would you be available to start that directory for us and for our community and for perhaps the website?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Ben.
So I'm taking notes as we do this. I'll add it to our minutes, and then we can come back to it in our next meeting. Unfortunately, it's not every month, it's every quarter. But Ben, thank you for that work and for that outreach. Does anybody else have any items? Okay, so we're on number 8, which is reports from staff. I think that's me, since Leslie gave a report. Again, like I said, this is my first meeting. It won't be my last. I'm very honored to be part of this commission specifically. It's one that really does touch my heart. Very shortly, as a child, but ended up in situations where I potentially could have been homeless. So it's near and dear. I've been running calls on homeless families and individuals for over 30 years. Always a very, very difficult thing. So it touches my heart. I'm very close to it, as are all of you. So if you've ever known somebody who's homeless, when we drive down the street and we see these poor people who are living out of shopping carts, I know we want to make a difference. So I know none of us want to attend a meeting quarterly with no action items and nothing producing and just feeling like, we just sit on meetings. So I know you've done a lot of good work. And what I want to send out, which I'm sure that Ben and Linda and Marilyn have, is you guys worked on a 2020-2021 work plan, which I'm sure you had given to council, correct? And I see that in front of me here. So I want to send it out to everybody so that you can review the work plan and so that we can begin to do some of that work or revise it. So when we leave a meeting, we have some takeaways, and that when we come back, we can report back on the work we've done. So, I just think it's, like I said, important to walk away with something. And I think today what we walked away with was good introductions, a great networking with Robin, meeting some wonderful new team members, us meeting our commissioners who have been here for a while. And I just highly encourage, I know how tough it is with our work schedules and family and everything. Maybe Ben or Linda or Marilyn can tell us, like, what is it that the chair does, which would maybe preclude somebody from wanting to be able to step up at this time? Is it a lot of work or just the organization?
I was curious, what's the expected workload? I know we do quarterly meetings, but there's still stuff anybody can do at any given week or day. And I mean, that's sort of what I've been doing. Can Leslie, are you able to answer that? Like what the typical hourly, weekly workload of a chair of a city commission is like?
Absolutely. The expectation of a chair of a committee is that you run the meeting and that you help set the agenda. Really, those are the only two obligations that you have outside of being a regular commissioner. So every commissioner has all the authority to assist with programs and projects and do all sorts of activities pertaining to the commission, but the chair is really just responsible to help run the meeting and set the agenda. So you'd meet with the chief. She'll probably call you 2 weeks before the meeting and say, hey, what do you think we should talk about? And so you can help set the policy and the direction. Sorry, my niece's 18th birthday is happening right now. So
it's fine. My mom runs a daycare.
I mean, I have 3 kids, so it's always like this anyway, but the role of the chair is not a lot of work, but it's very impactful because you can help drive the work that the commission does. So
Okay. And the vice chair would just fill in for the chair if they were sick or something. Are there any other responsibilities of the vice chair?
nope.
So I would do it. And if everybody's fine with that, I will. I'm just saying I've only been on the commission for like 4 months, and it's my opinion that the two other members who have been here much longer than I have, I think that's a perfect fit for chair and vice chair, in my humble opinion. But if they're fine with me doing it or would prefer I'm willing to. So can we open that up for discussion?
Absolutely. I see Marilyn waving her hand, so I want to give her an opportunity to speak.
I think that Ben would be wonderful as the chair. I really do. I was listening to him speak, and I thought this was a very, he wants to learn a lot, and you only learn as you do it. One of the things that we did last year was we had that little food pantry, free food pantry, like the free libraries, right? Where is that now? Do they have that going? They had it at several churches.
Well, Shoreline Church, they have a food pantry program, and that's in Monterey, but they help the whole county. And I'm sure that, there's a lot of churches in the whole county and even in the city of Seaside. I'm guessing that a lot of them have food pantries. They might have blankets. I'm guessing they're doing a lot of that.
Okay,
it's good to.
Ben,
okay.
I know they have a lot of that, Ben, but we had, like they have the free little libraries with boxes, and you can go to and you can take food out of, or you can take books out of. Have you seen those in the city? We had them at about 3 churches that I know of in Seaside. One was, I can't remember the name. But there was about 3 or 4 churches that had taken part in this. What happened to that program? Is it gone? That was something that they could go to and pick up the food, like they could pick up a book. And there were going to be several in the city. Doesn't anybody, Linda, don't you remember when we did that? Is Linda still there? Nobody knows what happened to that program? Okay, one of the churches down. Go ahead.
Well, and I'm sorry, it's the end of the day, and like my arm is just killing me. And if I'm crabby, don't take it personal. I'm just really uncomfortable right now. I think we might have to go down to the building on Broadway to find out if those pantry, so Ben, the little free pantry was, we bought these.
Yes, they were
little boxes, and the goal was for
yes.
different groups in the community to get these pre-made boxes, and they would adopt the box and they would make sure these boxes are filled and people could get things. Like in theory, you could have one in your neighborhood, like a little free library. I know we had 3 examples down, and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name of the building down there on Broadway where we've met several
Can't hear
times.
you.
At Seaside Creates. Yeah.
Yes, Seaside Creates. Thank you. I'm sorry. And we had some samples of I think we had 3 different kinds down there. And I guess what Marilyn's asking is, did some of those get out to, it sounded like at least a couple churches got those. And do we have any kind of record of where they are, and are they being, cared for, being stocked?
That
was one of the things
for your next meeting.
Yeah, Mary, I see you raising your hand.
Yeah, well, the first thing I was thinking is, Marilyn, do you have the time or energy to be able to research that if they're there in locations? And the second was, every time I drive up Broadway, the fire station on the north side, I see one of those there, and I think it's even close to the Casa de Noche Buena. It's right street side, and there's 2, and I always see people with a little bag, and they're putting food, and they walk away. So I know there's at least one heading up to the fire station. So Marilyn, do you think that's something you have time to do, to research and bring back to us? I'm not sure if she can.
Oh, I think she looks frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen. Linda, you think you could work with Marilyn on that? I know your arm is hurting. I know what that feels like.
I
so-
can't take, I'm sorry. I
Okay,
can't take
all
that on. I'm just, by the end of my workday, I am
Yes,
just not
okay.
pleasant. I'm
Well,
not a
what else-
pleasant person.
We'll ask Marilyn when she comes unfrozen, and I'll ask her, I'll call her up. I can call her up after the meeting. On next
I'm
week.
confident in a month, hopefully in a month, it'll be better. And I'll feel more like doing stuff beyond my work.
We totally understand. Go ahead, Leslie.
I just have a quick thing. So to get those little free pantries, they had to fill out an application
Oh.
with contact information on it. So I think between you and I, we can track down at least the addresses of it, and then maybe we
Okay.
can send it out to the commissioners. So as they drive
I like-
around the town, they can verify and do a nice check to make sure that it's
I like that.
going to do a team activity. But I think we should have on file an application somewhere.
Okay. Good. Okay, so I hear an action item. Leslie and I will work on that. An action item was Ben working on directory file for the commissioners. And then the most important one was I'd like someone to make a motion, if that's how we do this, Leslie, to we nominate Ben as our chair, if he's interested in that.
Sure, I'll do it. If you guys want me, I'll do it.
Okay, well, I nominate Ben as our, I forgot the term already, it's the commissioner.
As the chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the chair of our commission. And then somebody needs to second it.
I'll
Yes,
second. I second.
and that was Stacy. Okay.
Yes.
So give me the proper terminology, Leslie.
Okay,
On
so
that.
all in favor,
All in favor?
Aye.
raise your hand so we can see you verbally.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously.
Very nice. And Ben, we really do appreciate that. It's stepping out with courage. So that says a lot about you and we appreciate it. And you'll work with me. I'll be a good team player. I'm very dedicated. I will reach out to you, call me anytime you need to, and we'll build the agenda together. And like I said, we'll make sure that we have action items and we don't need 20. I'd rather have 3, right? And complete them and then move forward, because we can build a lot of ideas, but never complete anything. So
Right.
with that, and I want to have some respect for Linda, because I think we've all had surgery, and we just want to give you a big old hug and get you some rest tonight. I'd like to call for adjournment of our meeting and let you know again, they're quarterly, and our next scheduled meeting will be April 22nd. January, I went ahead and canceled it for different reasons to get myself, the fire department under my feet, but we'll meet April 22nd, 6:30, same time. So I appreciate all of you and I appreciate your time this evening. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for choosing to join the Seaside.
Thank you.
We're really grateful to have you as our fire chief.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Linda. All
Agreed.
right.
Agreed.
Good night.
Yep.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.
Right.